You have not said anything. That is the specific, important, most relevant fact in this situation piece that I want to establish at the beginning of this reading. You have not confronted, have not accused, have not made any dramatic announcement of what you have seen or what you understand or what the full, accurate picture of the situation looks like from where you are standing. You have simply been present with the specific, quiet, nothing performed quality of someone who is simply in the room, being who they are, seeing what they see, understanding what they understand, without any particular effort to communicate the seeing or the understanding to the person who is its subject. And yet, that person can feel it, not because you told them. Because the specific, involuntary, cannot be managed away quality of genuine knowing tends to produce a particular quality of presence, a stillness, a quality of attention that is slightly different from ordinary social attention. And people who have something to hide are often exquisitely sensitive to that difference. They are registering it, and it is producing something in them. I want to describe what someone tends to feel when they suspect they are being seen by someone who has not announced what they see. Because terrified is the word the title uses, and the specific quality of that experience deserves examination. It is not simple fear. Simple fear has an object that is visible and a threat that is nameable. Simple fear produces the mobilizing quality of someone who sees what is coming and has available responses. Who can argue or explain or defend because the thing they are afraid of is clear enough to engage with directly? What this person appears to be experiencing is different. It is the specific discomfort of being in the presence of someone whose eyes carry the quality of knowing without the knowing being announced, of someone who has accurate information and who is not deploying it, who is simply there, present with what they understand behind their eyes, moving through ordinary interactions, while the extraordinary thing of their perception is present and unspoken. That specific quality, being seen without the seeing being announced, is one of the most disorienting forms of being seen available, because it gives the person being seen nothing concrete to push against, nothing to defend against specifically. Simply the presence of an awareness that they can feel everywhere and locate nowhere. EMM. I want to describe what the quality of your eyes actually does in this dynamic, because the title is about the eyes, and that deserves its description. They do not accuse. This is what makes the dynamic particularly charged. Eyes that accuse produce a dynamic. The person being accused knows how to navigate. There is the accusation, visible and present, and there is the response. And the response is where someone who wants to deflect can apply their energy. Your eyes do not give them that opening. They simply see the specific, calm, this is what is there quality of someone who has looked at something clearly and who continues to look at it clearly without particular emotional charge around the looking. Not necessarily with judgment or heat, simply with the accuracy of someone who has registered what is actually present. That calm clarity in my read of this dynamic is what produces the discomfort, not anger, not accusation, not demand. The calm, because calm in the face of something that might reasonably produce a reaction communicates something specific to the person who expected the reaction. It suggests that you are operating from a settled position, that you have information and composure and the specific quality of someone who does not need to act urgently because the situation does not require urgency, that you are simply seeing what you see and are in no hurry about what comes next. Let me describe what happens to the dynamic between two people when one of them suspects the other knows more than they have said. It shifts the quality of the interaction, not through any deliberate action, through the structural reality of information being asymmetric. The person who suspects the other sees more is navigating from a position of uncertainty that the other does not share. They do not know what the other person has registered, do not know what they are waiting for, do not know how much of the picture is visible. That uncertainty tends to produce a quality of managed behavior, of interactions that are slightly more effortful than they should be, of responses that are slightly more careful than the conversation requires, of the specific, slightly too smooth quality of someone who is monitoring themselves rather than simply being present. You may have been noticing this quality, the effort behind what should not require effort. I want to speak to the choice of not saying, because the silence in a dynamic like this one is a choice, and the choice to hold what you know privately is worth examining honestly. The not saying keeps options open. It allows the situation to continue revealing itself rather than closing down in response to the awareness that you have seen something. It allows the person who is managing to continue showing you what the management looks like. It gives the picture more time to develop before any decision is made about what to do with what the picture contains. This is a legitimate position. It is also worth asking yourself honestly whether the not saying is serving you or simply deferring something uncomfortable. Both can be true simultaneously. The patience can be strategic and necessary, and there can be a point at which the patience has served its purpose, and what is needed is simply the honest, direct naming of what has been known for some time. Only you know which point you are at. Tell me in the comments if you recognize this dynamic, whether there is a specific person in your life whose behavior in your presence has had the quality of someone who is uncertain of how much you see, whether the particular effort in how they engage with you has been noticeable, whether this reading is finding the right situation. I want to say something about the knowing itself. Because knowing something about another person, especially something they have not offered freely, comes with its own weight. The knowing is not a weapon, not because you could not use it as one, because using it as one changes what it is, changes the clean, settled quality of simply having accurate information into something more reactive, something that is now entangled with the other person's response to it, something whose value has become contingent on what they do with being confronted by it. The not saying keeps the knowing as something that is simply yours, stable, not subject to how they respond, not hostage to whether they acknowledge it or are defensive or produce whatever reaction you might or might not want from them. Simply a clear, accurate picture that you have, that you can act on or not act on in whatever way the situation actually calls for. That stability, the specific quality of someone who has accurate information and who is not destabilized by having it tends to be visible in how a person carries themselves. It tends to be visible in the eyes. Let me speak to what the options are from here, not to prescribe which one is right, to name what is available. The first is continued observation, allowing the dynamic to continue, watching what continues to develop, maintaining the advantage that the fuller picture provides by simply staying in contact with it without forcing its resolution. The second is the question, not the accusation. The specific, disarmingly simple, what would you like to tell me quality of a question that invites them to offer their own version. That gives them the opportunity to be honest. And that reveals, in the quality of their answer, additional information about the full picture. Questions are elegant tools in dynamics where you know more than the other person realizes. They do not expose what you know. They create conditions in which what the other person will or will not offer becomes visible. The third is the naming, the direct, honest, I am going to say what I see approach, chosen when the picture is complete enough and the patience has served its purpose, and what is needed is simply clarity. Which of these is right depends on what the situation actually requires. And that depends on information that only you, with the full picture that you have, can accurately assess. I want to say one more thing about the discomfort this person is experiencing. It has a genuinely human quality. Being in the presence of someone who sees you clearly, when what they see is not the version you have been trying to present, is uncomfortable. The discomfort is real. The specific nowhere to hide quality of being accurately read by someone whose calm tells you they have registered something is something that produces a real human response. That does not mean you owe them relief from it. It means you can hold what you know with the full quality of who you are, which includes being accurate and being grounded and being where appropriate, compassionate simultaneously. The eyes that produce this discomfort are not cold eyes, they are clear ones. And clear eyes that are also warm, that are also genuinely themselves, that are also the eyes of someone who is fundamentally okay, regardless of what this situation produces. Those eyes are the most quietly powerful thing available in a dynamic like this one. As we close, I want to give you one image. You in a room with this person, both of you in whatever the surface of the interaction is, the ordinary texture of being in each other's presence, and a moment where your eyes meet theirs. The full weight of the dynamic passing between you without a word being said. The charged, unmistakable quality of two people who both understand in that moment that one of them sees more than the other has allowed themselves to fully acknowledge. They look away first, not because you have done anything, because the eyes that see clearly and carry what they see with calm are genuinely difficult to hold. And you, Virgo, have that kind of eyes.